The sights of Yellowstone really are extraordinary, even if you're just a tourist who gets off a bus and walks among the geysers on the boardwalks. And this hike starts or ends, depending on which direction you decide to hike it, on the boardwalks of the Biscuit Geyser Basin, which is about 3 miles from Old Faithful. We always try to get to the park entrance by 7 a.m. or so that parking won't be a problem. And then there's time to soak in the sights of Biscuit Geyser Basin for about a third of a mile before you really hit the trail. And once you step off the boardwalk, well, within a few feet, we got a reminder that things are quite different for the rest of the trail.
Actually, this is a good one too, but there's this one right here, and then this one right here. You see that?
Here.
And that's where we're going. How you feeling, Diane?
I've been more comfortable, but
Mystic Falls is just 1.3 miles from the parking lot, but most of the people who walk around the boardwalk never make it to see the stunning 70-foot waterfall, one of my favorite sights in all of Yellowstone. Hike up a little past the falls, and soon you have a spectacular overview of the Old Faithful Geyser Basin. And if you're lucky, as we were, you can see Old Faithful erupting in the distance. It looks really different from here than when you're standing right next to it. You get to see it in its context. We hiked on Memorial Day, so there were still some patches of snow, but nothing too problematic. Firehole Falls is a beautiful little gem tucked away just off the left side of the trail. There were still a lot of trees blocking the path, but you were able to climb through. Firehole River, about 5 miles in, is the last chance you'll have to get water. Here and at Firehole Falls, there are backcountry campsites. My wife and I have camped here, and it's wonderful, very secluded. There's not much between Firehole Falls, or Little Firehole Meadow, and the Imperial Geyser, unless you see the animal that's connected to the footprints we saw.
All right, here, so Diane, put your foot up next to it.
my foot's bigger.
So you say black bear?
Yeah, black bear. Big guy.
Because you can see his big square paw.
He's got a
It comes
square
back
pad.
here.
Yeah.
If it were a grizzly, it would have come down to a
Yeah.
point
And
like
it
a
would
heel.
have claw
You can
marks.
see claw
Oh, the claws.
And there's
Because
be
grizzlies
some
have
dead
bigger
hikers
claws.
next to
And
it
it'd
too,
be
right?
dead hikers.
Soon you come to an overview of Imperial Geyser in the foreground, and then in the distance you'll be able to see Grand Prismatic, which we'll hit with an overview on the way out. Imperial Geyser, if that's what you want to see, is best reached from the Ferry Falls trailhead itself, and it's a wonderful little geyser. Most people hike to Ferry Falls and then don't hike the extra half mile or less to the geyser that's constantly erupting. I've never seen too many people there, and it's a wonderful little spot. It produces a great thermal stream. Here are our friends Randy and Julie with whom we hiked it. The next day I came back and ran it with a couple of other friends you'll see in a moment. I love the waterfalls of this little thermal stream, and as you follow the stream, pretty soon you end up taking a right and making your way to Ferry Falls, another spectacular sight. Now, remember, when you get to the end, this isn't quite a loop. You're still a couple of miles from your car at Biscuit Geyser Basin, unless you took two cars for two parties. We were lucky to meet some friends here, a former student of mine who gave me a ride. But the next day, when I ran this with my friends going the other way, it took me about 20 minutes to hitch a ride. And here's a photo of my friends, Bob and Randy, who were good enough to go trail running with me. On the way out, we hit an overview and got to see Grand Prismatic. It's an amazing number of sights in a single hike. Some of the stuff tourists come to see, but some stuff tourists rarely get to see.